Season opener at Sha Tin on Sunday. This is the race-by-race preview. Paul Ali is here to look at all of the races for you and find you a winner along the way. And we're going to crack straight into the opening race right now, with racing taking place on the A course, Class 5 over the 1600 metres, and Leather Master is on the class drop. Star of Glory first up without her trial. Starship 80 has the hood coming off. Daily Beauty has raced better everywhere other than the turf track at Sha Tin. Splendid Star has his first start for Douglas White. Flying Gallop will wear blinkers for the first time. And Ring Bells had blood in the trachea and Aurora last time. That was the 26th of June. He comes here without a trial. Now the speed map for the opening race, Paul. We've got Star of Glory rolling forward. Smart Beauty, Ring Bells and Flying Gallop is the horse out there.
Yeah, look, he could just get a little bit stuck because he's a horse that does like to go forward a little bit, does Flying Gallop. He's got blinkers on for the first time, so he might be one place further forward. Looking at horses like Daily Beauty, you've mentioned him, he likes to get back. Superb Daddy, we know he races best when he gets back in. Starship 80 caught the eye at his last start when he got back.
That is the speed map. Some replays now, Paul, and we're heading up to Chung Fa for the first one. This is Leather Master running second. This was down the straight at Chung Fa, and the further they went in this trial, the better he looked in the...
Like, you look at his form line, and he's got Doug Higgs. Every race he hasn't banked a check. He's had 5 starts. He did finish off this race nicely. He's got Zach Purton aboard as well, so he's going to come slightly under the odds. But look, he looks like he's on the improve. He's drawn nicely in barrier number 4 as well, downgraded into this lower grade of Class 5. So look, he's got to be considered with those things that I've just talked about.
He's a member of the Benno Jung stable, is Leather Master. That's him running second up at Chung Fa. More trial action for you now, and we head to Sha Tin and on the Your Weather. Dazzling Fellow, he's coming back from a 4th over the 2200 metres. He runs 5th. Splendid Star has found form at his last 2 starts. And Smart Beauty, he's the other horse in this trial. He was second last early, Paul, but he makes good solid late ground.
He did. He finished off really nicely, Smart Beauty. 11 start maiden, and look, he's done nothing from those 11 starts. The best we've seen from him is a 5th. I did like the way that Dazzling Fellow finished off this season. He's coming back in distance. It's probably right for him in a fresh state, and he's drawn nicely in barrier number 5. We saw on that speed map he should get a nice enough run, so didn't mind him.
Some race form now. We're going back to the end of last season. Smart Beauty, Star of Glory finished down the track here. Superb Daddy over 1600 metres. He has won at this trip. He's also won over 2000 metres. And it's hard to fault what Splendid Star did with that win over Classic Archie. Backed it up behind Lucky Missile, changed stables and comes up with a good draw. Yeah,
that's the query. He's got the new stable. He's now with Douglas White, but he really found his form towards the back end of last season, winning at Happy Valley as well. This was the second. Superb Daddy, another one who hit form at the back end of the season, and you can see him finishing off strongly as well. And look, he doesn't mind the 1600 metres either.
That is a look at some of the horses leading into the first race. Did we see the winner amongst them?
I think we did. Look, I'm going to go with a horse who is still a maiden here in Hong Kong, and that's Dazzling Fellow. From a good draw, I think he can win this race, number 2. The 10 in there for second. We didn't talk about him, but Hang's Choice. He's a horse that I think can run pretty well, and he's got good track stats here. He's drawn barrier 1. He's run second off a 26 rating. Leather Master, the downgrader, and Superb Daddy, the other horse we talked about, who did hit a bit of form at the back end of last season. 2, 10, 1, 3.
And Paul's play is a QQP 1, 2 and 10 for the first. We head on to race number 2 now, up in grade for this one too, from the Class 5 opener to a Class 4 and back in trip over the 1200 metres. Ninja Derby on the class drop has the cheek pieces going on. Fortune Warrior, he has the crossover nose band off. Fastback first up back in trip from the mile to the 1200. More Rice blinkers off, Visor goes on. Super winner races pretty well in a first up condition, 5 starts for 3 placings. Mr Majestic has placed first up, and Immunicorn, who trialled well up at Chung Fa, is coming back from the 1650 at Happy Valley last time to the 1200 metres of Sha Tin here. Easy one here, Paul. Even though the 1200 metres hasn't been super winners go, he's done all of his winning over 1400 metres. You think he's going to have the speed to lead this field?
Yeah, he likes to go forward, doesn't he? And I think with Angus Chung aboard the apprentice, he'll just put his foot down and get to the front. Mr Majestic's an alternative. He can go forward. Fortune Warrior should get a really nice run just in behind. Looks a little bit tricky for Fastback. He's drawn barrier number 8, and he just might be stuck out on no man's land there.
The horse that's getting a really good run on that speed map is Fortune Warrior. He loved that drop in class last time, finished a third at his first go in Class 4. Pierrong Trains has given him the 2 trials, a third behind California Veins in one of them, and he beat Kowloon Eastar in the other. But this is the third pull from Fortune Warrior. Zach Purton on board, and he's under a stronghold.
He is, isn't he? And he's a very fit horse. Cross-nose band will come off him. I don't think he's drawn as barrier number 3, so we saw on that speed map he's going to get a perfect run in behind. I think he's going to be tough to beat in this race. I think he can win it.
Now focus on More Rice now with his first start we look at to begin with. This is a 4th. He was behind California Vein, started at 20-1. He was beaten 3 lengths, and Karis Teaton rides for Ben O'Yule.
Thought it was a good run. Blinkers off, visor goes on him. He was slightly slow away, so that's just one little query with him, but he's drawn barrier number 4. He's had this experience under his belt now. He's by Deep Field, so we know those progeny go really well up here in Hong Kong, and I thought he stayed on really well. So look, he's definitely one to include, I think.
We'll see what he's done since then, because we've got the trial coming up for the horses well up at Chung Fa. He runs third. His Super Commander is the leader in this trial. He goes on to win it quite well. It was over the 1,000 metres, and he finishes with 2 or 3 others in a bunch without being pushed out too much to try and run down the winner.
It's a nice quiet trial, wasn't it? I mean, we know Super Commander is a real speedster. He just gets out and burns along. So, look, no disgrace there. He finishes off the trial, I thought, nice enough. Looks well prepared coming into his seasonal debut. So I think he's definitely a chance in this race. And you can see he did just really stretch out nicely towards the end of it in this trial as well.
Stays at the 1,200 metres. That was the distance that he did run over in 4th spot at that first start. You can see them there, 3 or 4 in the bunch behind Super Commander, who we know speeding around Happy Valley on a Wednesday night. Now, finally, we've got some more trial form on the all-weather. Ever Blessing is the horse's name, Paul. He's had 2 starts, 12 and 1,400. Tough trip, tough trip. Trial should read tough trip as well, but he's drawn barrier number 1. He
has, isn't he? Look, I'll tell you one thing about that last start. He got knocked over, and I like the way he picked himself back up and hit the line really strongly. So, look, he's by Snitzel, this horse. He's had 2 starts. He was 40-1 last start. With those 2 runs under his belt, drawn nicely barrier number 1. I think he's a good chance in the race. I've definitely got him in there. He seems to be going in the right direction.
That is a big tick for that horse there in Ever Blessing. Where is he in amongst the selections?
Got him as the Quinella horse, actually, Ever Blessing. Look, I just think that this horse, Fortune Warrior, is going to get a perfect run from barrier number 3. Looks ready to win. So he's in front of Ever Blessing. We'll see how much natural improvement he's taken from those first 2 starts. More Rice just had the 1 run. Look, I'm going to put August Moon in. We haven't seen him on the track for a long time. He's had some knee surgery, but they've put a lot of work into this horse, and he did drop a lot of rating points in the off-season, and he's now down to his winning rating of 48. So I didn't want to leave him out completely. He goes in for 4th. 2-5-4-7.
Purton, Avdullah, and then Teaton and Lung from Paul to run spots 1, 2, 3 and 4 in race number 2. Grooving into race number 3 now, and we've got a horse at the top of the book that is our last start winner in Greenwich. It's a Class 4 over the 1,200 metres, and because of that win, Greenwich will have an extra £8 on his back. Ready to win has his first start in Class 4. Speedy Smarty won second up. He resumes here after a second in a trial. Golden Bulls had no trials. Lucky Quality's a last start winner. He started at 143-1. Ho Ho Star has the tongue tie going on, and further down the Good Deal. Shadow roll on, and he comes into Class 4 for the first time since joining the Douglas White stable with some strong efforts. Down in grade, Paul, Greenwich goes forward. Speedy Smarty, Golden Bull get good runs. Lucky Quality doesn't, but it didn't stop him last time.
Didn't it? And he won really well. It was a really gutsy win from him. Now, Golden Bull has been declared a roarer at his couple of starts now, but he should get a nice run just in behind. The Good Deal went well at the back end of last season. He should run well. Ready to win. It was an eye-catching run from him as well, and Dragon Delight normally drops out the back.
It is Greenwich, though, that we do start with. This is trial form. He's had the 2 trials, Paul. This is the second of them on the 4th of September. Zach Purton and Pierrong combined. He does it well. The horse to his inside, which also does it nicely, is 1 for all. We don't see him on the weekend, but his trial was strong.
It was, wasn't it? The thing with Greenwich is he really improved from start 1 to start 2, 4th, and then he won. He's up in the weights, but I think he can defy that by looking at this trial. One thing about Pierrong, he's got his horses really fit going into the race. He's given them plenty of work, and I think Zach Purden aboard as well. He can run pretty well. Same combination as the previous race.
It was too. A lot of trainers have given their horses just one trial, Pierre. A lot of them have had two, haven't they?
Yeah, some three.
And Vanquisher, Jamie Richards, he's trialled a number of times also, and Vanquisher is one of them. This is the horse, Paul, 2 starts ago that was brown lamped into 19 to 1.
A lot of money for him, yeah, you're right. Look, he's drawn nicely in barrier number 2. Brendan Abdullah aboard, should get him a really nice run from that draw. Look, I've included him. I think he's going well at the moment, so a nice trial from him. And
the other trial, he ran a third behind a horse called Mark Comet, so that's the second of the Vanquisher trials there. This is turf form now, ready to win, running 5th behind Helios Express last time. He's a horse that hasn't raced in this grade before, won off a rating of 64, but does mean he's going to have to carry 135 pounds.
Yeah, because he's down on this rating of 58 at the moment. Look, he didn't really get a clear run at a vital stage, I thought, in the straight. Once he got into the clear there, you can see him now. He's actually drifted back to the rail, and his best work was late. He really finished off strongly, finished 5th in this, and was making ground at the end. So, look, I think he's going all right at the moment.
Oh, enough to make the top 4?
Yeah, he said. Yeah, I have. I've definitely included him in the top 4, ready to win.
What is the top 4?
Well, I'm going to go with the top one here, though, Greenwich. I think that combination can win races 2 and 3 of Peong and Zach Purden. Speedy Smarty I'm going to include. He did win second up this horse, but did run really well fresh last time, and he's been up in Chung Fan. He's had a good break up there. Ready to win, well rated, and Vanquisher, who trialled nicely that quiet trial. But simple as 1, 2, 3 for the QQP, 1, 3, 2, 8.
Nice easy way to start the treble then. Race 3, number 1 at Greenwich on top for Paul. Feature race is race number 4, and Lucky Swain S lines up in this race. It is the running of the HKSAR Chief Executives Cup over the 1200 metres. Lucky Swain S with 135 pounds again. Same weight difference as what he carried when he beat Victor the winner the last time. Rewarding together, all wins have been over 1200 at Happy Valley. Adios was a 1200 metre Class 1 winner 2 starts ago, and Youthful Deal comes here for Andrea Zini, having his first riding day back in Hong Kong. He'll partner him for Frankie Law. Speed here, Paul. There's only really 2 talked about, isn't there?
Yeah, look, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think Victor the winner is going to lead. Adios will let him go. He can sit in the trail. I suppose the query is Youthful Deal. If he pushes up Lucky Swain S slow away, he sits behind him. But I think either way, I think Lucky Swain S won't want to let Victor the winner out of his sights. Then Rewarding Together gets back on. The single man. It's not going. It didn't go too well at the back end of last season.
No, and his trial form wasn't great either. He's a horse that was slow out in a trial and then struggled on the inside. Here he is here, speaking of back in the field, I'm a single man. Victor the winner, he is second against the rail, and we've got Lucky Swain S a couple of lengths away. Also Rewarding Together, he's a horse that's had a trial up at Chung Fa, ran on okay, went second behind Solid Charla, but all things being equal, Paul, can Victor the winner turn the tables on Lucky Swain S with very similar conditions to what they had here?
No, it's exactly the same, isn't it? And I don't think he can, because, look, there was the same weight difference as these 2 horses. They both won fresh in the past. They both had plenty of work leading into it. They trialled against each other as well, of which Victor the winner did win, but Lucky Swain S wasn't pushed out. But, look, I think this is the dead set Quinella.
Of course, he made it an equalling 8 wins for the season in that race, did Lucky Swain S. They have trialled down the straight since, the pair of them, with Victor the winner actually beating Lucky Swain S here. They're drawn over on the far side. Victor the winner, he was 4th away and then improves. He sweated up quite badly this morning, as you can see across the breastplate, and Lucky Swain S is in the centre of the track, just sticking with him at this stage. And of course, Paul, Zach knows Victor the winner as well as just about anybody, because he's ridden him a couple of times, and an obvious one that he goes for such a grand sprinter in Lucky Swain S.
Yeah, look, it was a pretty easy decision. Look, you can see them, they came clear in this particular trial. Neither were really pushed out, but Victor the winner, he was sweating up a bit. That's one little minor concern there. But he did finish off and did win the trial. But as you can see, Zach hasn't really moved on Lucky Swain S. They're both fit horses coming into it. They've both met under similar conditions before. I think they'll fight it out, but I think Lucky Swain S will get the better of him.
Was his trial better, even allowing for the fact that Victor the winner beat him? You can see Zach sitting very still and Victor the winner just being niggled along ever so slightly.
He was, wasn't he? So, yeah, look, he didn't move. So, look, we don't know what was under the bonnet if he did push him, but we've seen it in the past, and there's always a reaction there.
There is indeed. So that is the big guns in the running of race number 4. Some of the other horses which feature in this race include Adios. Now, This was a very good trial from him. He gets wide out on the straight when they turn for home. River Views against the inside and Pulsar Strider. He's a horse that's had the 19 starts, good enough to win 4 of them.
Yeah, look, he's won on the all-weather last season, a versatile horse. He did come out and win on the turf as well. Look, I don't think he's up to the same sort of capabilities as Lucky Sweynesse or Victor the Winner, but look, he's the next best for me, and I think he, on the back of this trial, he's quite forward, and I think he can run a Philip Minor placing.
Alexis Spadell partners him for Frankie Law, of which we stay with the Frankie Law stable now, and this is Rewarding Together. He runs second up at Chungfa in this trial. He comes to Sha Tin. He's placed 7 from 12 on the track, 6 from 11 course and distance. You can see him being shaken up there. He's just a level or 2 below the big guns in this race, isn't he?
He is, and look, he's never won at Sha Tin, has he? So, look, he's there for the minor placings. A very good trial. There was no pressure on any of these horses in this particular trial, but he did what he had to do as well. But look, 3rd or 4th, I think, is going to be his best lot in this.
He has won first up, 5 starts first up for a win, a second, a third and a fourth, and an unplaced effort as well. I'm a Single Man. This is the trial that we mentioned early, Paul. He wasn't fast away and then he just showed no speed after that. He sticks to the rail. He does make a little bit of ground and ends up running 4th behind Healthy Happy, but the back end of last season was just really poor from him, wasn't it?
It wasn't going well, and you can see he's pushed out again in this trial. So, look, I'd be surprised if he featured in this race. Look, he ran on a little bit, but you can see the other horses weren't asked to do anything at all. So he's hard to have in this.
If you can make a positive for him, he has placed 2 from 3 in a first-up condition, has I'm a Single Man, and Youthful Deal. He runs 8th in this trial. He's one of 3 in the race for Frankie Law. Wait till he gets onto the all-weather with him.
Yeah, he's never won on the turf, but he's a revelation on the all-weather. Runs really well. This is his surface. He's trialled well once again. Here, look, he wasn't asked to do anything, just pushed out the back. But look, this on paper looks too rich for him. So I think he's very hard to have. I don't think he's going to break his duck here on the turf. All
right, so we'll wait for the surface switch with him to get back to the all-weather. Easy as 1 to beat 2.
It looks that way to me. 1 to beat 2. With similar conditions as last time. So the forecast 1 to beat 2. Then the other 2, Adios and Rewarding Together. But all around the 1 and 2 for me.
And 1:55 start time if you want to see Lucky Sweynesse. The 5th race is a Class 5 racing, and it looks this way. It's over the 1,200 metres. The distance of this one, and fingers crossed, a winner when we last saw him on the 16th of July, carries an extra £5 for it. Wide draw again for Regency Happy Star, dashing triumph now with Me Choi. Cheek pieces come off. Fighting Star had some blood in the track. He went 12th behind Day Day Rich. Soaring Tower, he's won off a rating of 52 at his first race start, so he's first up this week as well. Alloy King, no trials. Turbo Power, no trials. Day Day Rich, a last start winner too, and he carries an extra £5 for that victory. Now the speed map here for the Class 5s, Paul. We've got Day Day Rich and I Give both up on the pace. Alloy King, he does have good gate speed normally, which gets him into a nice spot. Yeah, look, the thing with Day Day Rich, he actually used to lead all the time without any problems, but he did hand up last time and then won. So, look, I just wonder if I Give will go on with it, because we know he likes to go forward as well. But whatever happens, it's going to be a good pace in this race. Fighting Star, now he was wide last time. I think he's going to get himself into a nice position. We're going to start with Fighting Star too. He had that blood in the track here as well, which saw him finish down the track. And up at Chungfa this morning, 31st of August was the date. It was only an 800-metre trial, but he went straight to the lead, Paul, and the further they went, the better he looked. He was impressive. He was, wasn't he? Look, he's only had 2 starts in this Class 5. He won 1, and then this next start, he had these clear excuses. He was wide all the way, had blood in the track here. On the back of this trial, he's really well, I think, rated into the Class 5 here, and look, I think he can win this race. He's hit the line strongly, and he didn't give it up at the end either, so a nice trial from him. Alex Ebidell rides him for Dennis Ship. Our next replay is Soaring Tower. Zach Purton's on him, and Zach's got quite a good record on the horse. He trials here against Ever Blessing, who we see in an earlier race, so we can get a bit of a guide around this trial, and they were some distance in front of the rest. Yeah, he used to get back in his races. He's won off 52 before, did win one of his first starts here in Hong Kong, and now he's had the 23 starts and just that 1 win. But he's had plenty of placings. He's had 4 seconds, a third and a fourth as well. With a well-rated horse, he's drawn 10, so I think he'll go back. Look, I'm going to include him because he is capable. He's also in this last replay we need to show you for the Class 5 too. That's I Give in the lead. You mentioned he's going to be up on the pace. Fingers crossed at start number 13 was able to get the job done. Stays in this grade, comes up with a nice draw. Extra weight, just had a trial where he's finished down the track, wasn't asked to do too much. Other horse in this race is Valhalla in the black colours, who finishes 5th.
Also, he's nominated for Happy Valley on Wednesday's Valhalla, but you can see him finishing off nicely, fingers crossed. I like the way he fought on. He showed a little bit more stamina than we've seen from him in the past. If he can get across, which I think he can, I think he can be a player.
All right, Class 5, not easy. How does it go?
No, it's always a not easy one, this class. So I'm going to go with Fighting Star, though. I think Fighting Star can win 2 starts in the grade for a win and an excuse. Soaring Towers won in Class 4. I'm going to put Day Rich in. He did win nicely enough last time, as long as he doesn't get into a speed battle, which I don't think he will. And I Give, we just talked about him as well. So 6, 7, 12 and 5 here in race 5.
And for 6 up punters, race number 5 is your first leg. And race number 6 now, it's down the flying 1,000 metre straight of Sha Tin, and it is the Ling Farshan handicap with Karma, a last start winner, carries an extra nothing because he's got £2 less actually. Ellis Wong taking 10 off following Vincent Ho riding him to victory last time, but he is back in trip. Champion Method, a first starter for Denny Shums, had the 4 trials. Ruby Sailing out of Griffins for the first time into Class 4. Sparkling Dolphins, a 3-time winner first up, 4-time winner down the straight. Multi Darling back in trip. Super Fast Dragon, crossover noseband goes on him. And Good Boy has the hood off with Noble 1, minus the cross noseband for race number 6. Now the speed here, Paul, comes from Sparkling Dolphin. We know he likes to go forward. Ruby Sailing, Champion Method. One horse that used to speed along is Valiant Elegance. He doesn't quite have that toe anymore.
No, and he trialled recently at the back as well. So, look, I think he's going to go towards sort of the back of midfield. I thought Super Fast Dragon, he'll come across. He'll set midfield as well. Noble 1, Multi Darling have been getting back. Look, Karma, he's coming back from 14 to 1,000, so he's going to be back towards the rear.
He is, and he's had no trials, Karma, so he's going to look to sprint very well fresh. Champion Method, we don't know him, Paul. He's had the 4 trials, 2 of them previous campaign, and then the 7th behind Ka-Ying Chia here. Zach Purton on board. In
his first couple of trials, he was quite handy to the pace. That's why I think he'll be up there as well. He's been educated now with these 4 trials that he's had. He's had 4 in total. You can see that this one was just a matter of placing him in the midfield of the pack. He wasn't pushed out at all. So, look, there's a little bit of an unknown about him because they've just sort of been educating him at the trials, which is the right thing to do at the trials, and he's had 4 of them.
Market will be a good guide around him. Speaking of trials, Paul, there's one you're very keen on out of the trials, and that is Super Fast Dragon, a member of the Jamie Richard stable for Lyle Hewitson.
Like this trial, I thought he sat him behind. Wasn't a strong trial. I think the Matador won the particular trial, but just like the way he did it, he wasn't asked to do anything at all. You could see he could have easily won the trial if he wanted to. He didn't. He's a big horse. I think the straight 1,000 really suits this horse. The cross noseband goes on. He's by deep field. And he has run 4th down the course and distance before.
He has indeed. That was quite a strong race. He ran 4th into a Super Fast Dragon. Now some winning form from last prep. This is Karma. He's only had the 3 starts, all of them at 1,400 metres. Didn't do much on debut. Run on well at his 2nd start and then run an even better here. However, as you've touched on, he's going to have to do it over 400 metres less distance than this race.
He's from a family of stayers as well, this horse, Karma. So, look, I really like the way he stretched out and won. Again, I think the 1,000's going to be a little bit too short from a Multi Darling. Hasn't really done enough for me recently as well.
All right, we know who you're with because he's your best bet.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Super Fast Dragon here. Look, he's a big horse. I think the straight 1,000, he's had plenty of work and he'll be fit going into the race. Ruby Sailing, I think they've been pretty fair with this horse. 52 rating after the 2 seconds in the Griffins. Champion Method's the unknown. And Noble 1 has run 2nd down the course and distance in the past. 7, 4, 3, 10.
That is the preview for race number 6 featuring Super Fast Dragon. Race number 7 is the Sunset Peak Handicap, and it is for the Class 3 gallopers, and it's over the 1400 metres. Bonza Perla, she's first up, back from the 1600 metres. Outgate, he's first up, going the other way, up from the 1200 metres. Capital Legend, no trials, but did win first up. Charity Bingo has the shadow roll going on. Tempest Express is having his first start since January. He had a further 7 trials after his most recent effort last prep, and then won this time in. Circuit Mighty has improved in Class 3 at his last couple. All is good, he's aiming for 4 in a row. And Precise Express first up, but all of his wins have been over 1600 metres. Circuit Mighty, Paul, with speed. Big Red nearly pulled off a win from the front at huge odds a couple of runs ago, and looks as though everybody's going to get their chance here.
It looks that way, doesn't it? All is good. Can get himself in a nice position. He's won his last 3. There's been sort of a rain around when he's won those races. Bonza Perla now, she ran better at her last start when she was close to the pace. Charity Bingo, midfield. Tempest Express, back to Capital Legend. Precise Express, Outgate and Snaffles from wide draws will go back.
We start with some winning race form. This is All Is Good. He was so close so often, Paul, and he just couldn't quite deliver. And 3 starts ago, as you said, the rain came and he went out and beat Lady's Choice at 16-1. And since then, he has been unstoppable. This is the win on the 3rd of July. So this is his last start victory over the old boy, Kazi Farazi.
Yeah, any rain around will really help him as well. He seems to really like it. Look, as you said, he was always he's the gunner, wasn't he? The gunner man. He ran about 3 or 4 fourths in a row, and couldn't get those wins on the board. But he started to do it, and he's won his last 3.
His trial was very good, but what about Circuit Mighty? He'd struggled in Class 3 until his last 2, and he's showing a glimpse of form in this grade. Can he continue on with that? I
think he can. He's going to be in the right position, I think, right on the pace. This was a really good sort of blowout for this horse. As you mentioned, look, he's won off a 60 rating. He is at 66, but he's run really well his last couple off that rating or off a similar rating. So, look, he's capable, I think, and he should get a nice enough run.
And finally, one for the girls. Bonza Perla lines up. There she is down on the inside. She finishes 3rd here. Snaffle's 5th. He's run 4th behind Blue Marlin in a trial. Made some minor inroads, whereas Bonza Perla ran 5th in her trial and was making some ground at the end of that event too.
She arrived on a rating of 80, Bonza Perla, and her best runs have been her debut run in this one. So coming into it a fresh state, back to 1400 metres, I think will really suit her. She should get herself into a nice position. I think she'll run well. The other horse, Snaffles, now he's coming back from longer trips. I think he needs further. So of the 2, Bonza Perla.
All right, so she gets the better nod of the 2 from Paul, but who makes your top 4?
Going to go with the Circuit Mighty on top. I think he's going to be right in the right position, right on the pace. All is good, can sit behind. A Big Red won't be too far away in Bonza Perla. So I think these 4 are going to be right on pace. So I see it as a pace-oriented race, so that's how I went 7, 8, 9 and 1.
A win for Brenton Avdella and Manfred Mann with Circuit Mighty from Paul in race number 7. And we groove into race number 8 now, and this race is a Class 4 over the 1400 metres. And Blue Marlin has the cheek pieces coming off. 4-runner, he was a winner on debut. He had 3 starts after that. Golden Liquors won first up off a rating of 69. All of Mine, last 2 starts have been on rain-affected tracks. Light of Wanchi, no trials, placed 3 from 6 first up. Kazi Farazi trial well, but no first up form. Divine Era is a 3-time course and distance winner. And So Awesome was a one-hit wonder last season. Won 2 starts ago at 31-1. Now some speed here, Paul, and we're going to see who rolls to the front. It's Ariel and Divine Era. Again, they go marching 2 by 2. Yeah,
I think everyone's going to get their chance in this as well. Blue Marlin, look, he led last time, but I think he'd be more happy just to take a sit from barrier number 3, as is All Is Mine from the inside draw. Light of Wanchi, Roman Turbo had to go all the way to back with a wide draw last time. He won't be too far away. And Speedster drew 2 last time and managed to get 3 wide.
He did indeed. As we have a look at some trial form now, Paul, and we start with Ariel, who finishes 7th. He's drawn barrier number 7 here. He was always handy enough on the rail, not asked to do too much in the run home, and just followed the fence the entire way. Yeah, so look, wasn't really taking too much with this trial because he was pushed out a little bit. We know David Hayes' horses can be quite forward. We saw that last season as well. So look, the trial, it was okay trial, wasn't it? He wasn't really pushed out, but he didn't really
sort of, he held his place, is what I'm trying to say.
It's hard to get a gauge on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
All right, that's Ariel. We move on to a horse that we can get a gauge on. This is Roman Turbo. Karis He's now with Chris So, hasn't been there for too long. As we roll the replay here, he's just held up in a pocket and has to ease across the heels of All Is Good.
He's a really well-rated horse, best-rated horse in the whole card. 81 was his last winning. Now rating, that was 2 years ago, but he's now down to 56. He dropped 5 points in the off-season. And he finished off, he's only had one start for Chris So, and he ran really well, I thought. Got back, had to go all the way back from a wide draw and ran on really strongly.
He's a bit unlucky 2 starts ago, so some excuses for Roman Turbo. Now, this is the horse you like, Forerunner. He ends up running 3rd in this. Do you like the fact that he won on debut? So he comes here first up. It's a proven method for him. It's a little hard to see how he's travelling at the post here because he's beautifully hidden against the horse on the inside.
Yeah, look, I think he was running really well and he had plenty in hand here. Look, he did win on debut and he was lame after his last start. So there was obviously a little niggly problem with him. They've taken him up to Chungfa and I think he's really thrived up there. You can see him on the inside. Well, you can't really, but he's the horse on the inside. But you can see the jockey not moving on him. I think that's the point you've got to make. So, look, and past the line, you can see him carrying on well there. So I think it was a good, well, I think it's a good trial.
And you think it's enough to be the horse to beat?
Well, look, he's going to be a price. He should be a price. He's just won the one start and he sort of went backwards after that. But there was obviously a niggly problem because he did pull up lame. They've given him plenty of time off. So he's on top. Roman Turbo is a well-rated horse. Speedster, as I said, had no luck last time. At Blue Marlin went too quick last start. He couldn't get to the rail, came across and ended up too wide. But look, I think Forerunner can win this at a price. 2-7-12-1 in race number 8.
And for treble punters, race number 8 is the first leg of the second treble. And race number 9 now. We've got Supreme Lucky at the top of the book here. Zach Purton rides him for Danny Shum, but the full field looks this way for the running of the Lantau Peak Handicap, the Lantau Peak Handicap, and it's over the distance of 1,200 metres. Supreme Lucky, 3-time course and distance winner. Beauty Crescent wears blinkers for the first time. Simba back from the 1,400 last start. Ace 1, no trials. Cross noseband is back on. Call Me Dandy, extra £7 for his last start win. Amazing Ace wears blinkers for the first time. Solid Shala won a trial pretty well up at Chungfa leading into this, and Compassion Spirit, he trot up okay too behind Victor the winner, but all of his 1,200 metre form has been across at Happy Valley. Pulsar Strider, Paul leads. Call Me Dandy handy. Ace 1, Compassion Spirit wide. Supreme Lucky, likely to go back, you think, from barrier number 9. Yeah,
he went back last time, didn't he, in a sort of a bigger field. So he's not going to be that far back, even if he does go all the way to the rear. The Pulsar Strider, he's been going forward and leading. Call Me Dandy likes to sit handy as his Ace 1. Compassion Spirit just might have to work early.
We are going to start, though, with certainly one of the favourites, if not the favourite in the race, in Supreme Lucky. Here he is running 3rd. He's had the 2 trials. This is the one down the straight behind Carroll Street. The other one he ran 5th behind Winner Method. What did you make of the trials, Paul? Because he was flicked along a couple of times in both of them.
He was, wasn't he? So, look, you can see him just asked to do a little bit, but he did respond. That was one thing with him. We know he's got a good turn of foot. We saw that last time when he finished off strongly from the back in a really strong form race, the Bundle of Charm one. So, look, he kept improving. I think he improved once again. Can this horse? So, look, I still think he's a winning chance.
All right, that is Supreme Lucky running a 3rd there in that trial over the 1,000 metres at Sha Tin. Our next replay is a horse that did trial well in Ace 1, actually, so we'll get back to the trial of Call Me Dandy shortly. Ace 1 hasn't had a trial. Compassion Spirit, he was going to run 6th, and as we saw on the speed map, he might just have to do plenty of work, which he did in his trial, and he stuck on okay.
He did, didn't he? Look, just the awkward draw. It was a little query I had for him. Ace 1's been going pretty well recently. Another one that won't mind if there's a little bit of rain around as well. He just hasn't got a really good fresh up record, has Ace 1. But from barrier 2, he should get a nice enough run.
2-time winner over the 1,200 metres, Paul, is Call Me Dandy. He's trialled on the 29th of August. Just had the 1 trial. Matthew Chadwick rides again for Francis Lloyd, but his finish in this trial was really good, and All Is Good, who's been in good form, also trials well and runs in an earlier race.
He does, doesn't he? Look, it was a really good trial from this. So I think he's the main danger to the top weight here in Supreme Lucky. He wasn't pushed at all, was he? And he was just making ground under his own steam. So he looks quite forward for a good run.
Easy Quinella then?
I think it is. I think that's the way the Quinella is. in this particular contest. So Supreme Lucky, Call Me Dandy. I've gone Supreme Lucky to beat Call Me Dandy. Look, I've gone Solid Shala for third. Now, he's trialled well recently, this horse, and his best run we've seen from him was at the back end of last season. And Sinba, another one that looked really good when he won his race last season as well, and drawn nicely in barrier number 4. So 1, 6, 9 and 3.
Good field race number 9, but Paul thinking Supreme Lucky can be just a little too good under the top weight in the second last. And a really good field to finish the day at Sha Tin, race number 10. It's chock full of quality and it's over the 1400 metres. It is a Class 2 event. Flaming Rabbit at the top of the book. He's had one trial, comes back in trip from that 4th last time. That was a demoted 4th on protest. Super Sunny Singh, we see him for the first time since the Derby. Sylvester's placed 2 from 4 first up. Handsome 12, all form on the all-weather. Find My Love has been in grand form. Keith Young's getting plenty of great runs out of him in recent times. Galaxy Witness back to his favourite distance. Prime Minister has placed 2 from 5 first up. And Winner Method never won past 1200 metres, but he has placed 5 times over the 1400 metres. Flaming Rabbit, Paul, he'll go straight to the front because he leaves the gates like he's tied to them. Winner Method, Sylvester, the Golden Scenery, Find My Love. Again, it looks as though everybody's going to get their chance.
Looks that way, doesn't he? And it should be a good pace. Flaming Rabbit's well named, likes to hop out and get straight to the front. Winner Method won't be too far away. Sylvester's another possible leader. Find My Love, he's been sitting handy recently. Coming in fresh from the Derby, Super Sunny Singh, Prime Minister. Galaxy Witness runs his best races when he's held up for a late run.
Let's see if we can find you a winner amongst these replays. And we're going to start with race 834. Now, this is Flaming Rabbit. You can see there in those green and purple colours. That's just how fast he always is out of the gates, and he's able to get across and lead. Now, in this race, he shows in the form guide, Paul, that he's run 4th. He was actually 3rd past the post, but then was relegated back to 4th on protest after making some contact with Tuchel. There was rain around this day, but the track was rated as good. He did win on a good to yielding track 2 starts ago, and there has been heaps of rain in Hong Kong in the days leading up to the meeting. He's
got to be straight to the front, I think. Catch Me If You Can. Coming back to the 1400 metres, I think is really going to suit him because he just got tired a little bit, and that's what caused the little bit of interference. You can see him, he sort of ran out a little bit as they got close to the post with Tuchel. Did bump him 2 or 3 times, and they did change the placings there for 3rd and 4th. But look, it was a strong race he's come out of here as well.
He is a horse that is placed first up. Here is the head-on. You can see him down there on the inside. Tuchel to his outer. That's Encountered joining it out wide. But just here as he starts to get tired, Paul, he keeps the whip in the left hand. Lowell Hewitt's doing everything he can to keep him straight. But the old lactic acid starting to tell the tale by about here. About there, isn't it? And you can see him, he hasn't touched there, but he does there. And then he just sort of leans on him right down there. So he had a couple of goes, hit Tuchel. But look, the 200 metres, as I said, fresh up is going to be a different story. We move on now to his trial where he runs 5th, Galaxy Witness 6th. And what about Prime Minister? He's a horse that you've never minded in the past. Would you prefer him in something other than this? Yeah, I do. I think it's a strong race, and I do prefer him at Happy Valley as well. Look, Galaxy Witness finishes off strongly enough in this trial. I thought it was good from him, and he wasn't too far away either. So that is a Sha Tin trial down the straight. We spoke extensively about Flaming Rabbit prior to that. Next up, we're going to head back to the running of the Classic Cup where Super Sunny Singh is 2 good. Galaxy Witness 3rd. This over the 1800 metres. So he resumes over the 1400, Paul, a distance that he loves. 2 from 2. So look, he's a horse that does go well. Now, you look in the form books, he hasn't won fresh, but like everything went wrong on his debut run. He hit his head on top of the stalls. He just didn't settle, and it just wasn't, a good run from him. But I think now with that 1400 metres fresh up, I think he'll get a nice run. I think he'll get his opportunity. Matthew Chadwick rides him. He's got a good record on the horse. Vincent Ho still out through injury. Now, the trial, he wasn't asked to do almost anything in this trial, was he? He's only had the one, so his last race day appearance was in the Derby on the 19th of March. Yeah, exactly. And look, he's coming back to a winning distance from him, though, 2 from 2. I thought he finished off this trial really nicely. So a nice little piece of a trial really for him on his track work, and he did everything he had to do. So it should be spot on for this particular assignment. And good report from Paul around Super Sunny Singh. This is the consistent up until the back end of last season, the Golden Scenery. He just wasn't quite as sharp as what he was to kick off the season, and he was hard ridden in this trial in the concluding stages.
Look, he's places well. He's been placed 13 times from his 27 starts, but he's only won 3. He just sort of finishes off, but he doesn't really sort of win his races, does he? So, look, I'm a big fan of the horse, but I've left him out in this one.
Okay, so no the golden scenery for Paul. That trial was up at Chungfa over the 800 metres. We move on to Sylvester. Flaming Rabbits in front here. Galaxy Witness 5th, so we've seen a few of these a number of times. And Find My Love, ever since Keith Young got on board, he's been absolutely flying. And we saw on the speed map, he may get a very similar run on Sunday as to what he did in this race.
Yeah, look, I thought he finished off the race nicely. I just wonder, look, 2 wins in a second. He's always promised to do this, the son of Frankel, and he looked really good earlier in the season. So he's really coming to his fruition this at the back end of the season. This could be a really good season for him, so I'm going to include him.
That is Find My Love's previous start. Here is his trial. He runs third. Winner Method is the horse that wins this. That's Romantic Warrior to his outside. But the trial, Paul, he ends up running third. And he was very strong late in this trial.
Yeah, a good trial from him. Look, he looks like he's cherry ripe. And as I say, look, some of these horses from the Northern Hemisphere just take a while to settle. He looks like he's done that now. So, look, he's going to run a race, there's no question.
Romantic Warrior, of course, headed towards racing in Australia. Our next replay is going to feature Handsome 10, Handsome 12 10th. All of his form has been on the all-weather. And here's old Galaxy Witness again. Might have to send him a bill for sponsorship of the show. He's been in just about every replay, Paul.
He has, hasn't he? Look, he finished off nicely over the 1650. This is what he does. He gets back and runs on. This is Happy Valley, of course. He'll be running now at Sha Tin. Can't have Handsome 12 on the turf. Wait for the all-weather for him.
And that is a look at Galaxy Witness. And finally, we're going to show you the run of Winner Method, who finishes second in this race. That was over the 1400 metres behind Superb Boy. Has had 4 starts first up for a win and a couple of placings. Yet to win at the trip, but he's not normally too far away at the finish.
Yeah, Class 3 comes up to Class 2, so I think he's just going to find it a little bit harder in this particular grade. Will Winner Method. It does come in with a light weight. But, look, I'm happy just to watch him here. I don't think he's going to get his own way in front from barrier number 7.
So that's a look at all of... If you're tipping nearly fine in this, I'm walking out. He's the only one we didn't show you.
No.
Who did you like?
No, I haven't got a hint. But, look, it's a really good race, I think, this particular one. I'm going to end up with Super Sunny Singh, though. 2 from 2 over the 1400 metres swayed me. Flaming Rabbit, he should get a nice run in front. Find My Love is the improver. And Galaxy Witness, we've talked a lot about Galaxy Witness. 2-1-6.
And that is the running of race number 10. And you can see Galaxy Witness and the other runners at 10 minutes past 6 o'clock. We're back at Sha Tin for the season opener with race number 1 at 12:25 on Sunday.